It's
Well,
recording.
yeah. So last week you said something along the lines of like we could probably start off every week with like a word or something that happens that you fucking hate, Eric.
Oh.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
there's a new one. There's one
Oh,
that's
no.
been said a lot this week. You've heard people say the word woke?
Yeah.
Like get woke. Stay woke.
Yeah. Which is wait, let's start with it's a past fucking participle. Like, is that what participle? I don't know what participle means.
Dangling participle? I don't know. Dangling
I
participle?
might be wrong.
I don't
it's
fucking
the
know.
past tense.
Yeah, well, yeah, because you
But
say
people
I woke
use
up.
it. People are using it as a verb
Yeah.
in the present tense.
No, they're actually using it as an adjective.
Oh,
I'm
really?
woke. Like as in like I'm enlightened. I'm aware of things that are happening. I'm woke.
That's what it means.
That's what the
oh,
fuck they're saying.
me.
Because
Jeez.
literally, and we'll touch on this some, Katy
Oh,
Perry
gosh.
is referring to herself as purposeful or woke pop. Her pop is woke. Yeah, I have the chills right now. I'm so angry. I'm just, it's not even
You have
anger. It's just,
goosebumps.
I have anger bumps. They're where my nibbles are. I'm literally like, I can't understand why we can't just use regular words. Like what we have to keep sounding dumber. Like there's nothing about let's stay woke.
Because you got to stay fresh.
Yeah, Subway. But let's eat fresh.
Yeah. What if the way people use fresh now could actually be traced back to eat fresh from Subway? That's like how
Right?
it actually started.
Well, no, fresh. Actually, you know what's funny is fresh was a word when I was a kid. Like that was a word for cool. Like that's fresh. Like,
Oh,
where do you think
really?
Fresh Prince of Bel Air came from.
Oh, shit. I
Yeah,
didn't
it
even
was
think
fresh.
about that.
Man, that was fresh.
Okay. So that's not new.
You know, and the thing is it may not make a lot of sense, but it's still better than woke. It's still better than fire. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Well, speaking of that, it seems like some of them get recycled. Like, you know how like fashion trends every 20 or 30 years or whatever?
Yeah, that's
They
why
come
girls
back.
are wearing those pants that make their ass look like they're like 12 inches long. They give them long ass. Have you ever noticed that?
Where the waist is really high.
The waist is really high.
Yeah,
It just
yeah,
makes
yeah.
me. It makes to me when I look at it, it makes your ass look long. Like I have a term for it.
I don't
It's
know.
called
It's
long
kind
ass.
of. I don't know. It's kind of attractive.
See, that's where the thing is.
Well, because they wear crop tops above them,
Yeah. So basically,
so they
you're
have
now
the
living
midriff
through.
above the belly button and below the boobs,
Yeah,
and it's like, I don't know.
I understand.
It's
I
very
understand that
specific.
people are into it, and I understand people have different.
70s or like.
No, it's 90s.
But I could see 70s.
The 70s probably did too. I'm sure 70s did too.
Maybe they weren't shirts. Maybe they were just like bell-bottom
But
jeans.
the fucking no, I don't like that. I don't understand why you would want your ass to look like it's like a foot and a half long. It's basically giving yourself the old definition of mom butt. You know, it's like when where guys wear khakis and you have
See,
like
here's-
dad ass. Like
That's true.
I try to avoid dad ass at all possible.
But here's the thing. I would agree with you. I would be just as angry if I wasn't attracted to
No,
it.
I get it. But the thing is do you
I'm
think,
blinded by the
do you,
attraction.
do you find it on every ass that looks good, or it's
Oh,
just
no.
exactly?
No. It's a very specific type.
exactly.
All right, that's
No,
it.
it's no.
Bring
Really
in the
quick,
music.
hold on, let me tag this
Okay,
shit. in.
okay.
Let me tag
Hold on,
this.
hold on.
Along with that came back Birkenstocks.
What are those?
The fucking sandals with the two flaps that go over the top of your foot.
Flip-flops? What do you mean?
Not flip flops. Birkenstocks. You can look them up while I'm
Okay,
angry
I'm
about
looking
this.
it up.
For some fucked up reason, like young girls. Now, obviously, I'm married and I'm happily married, so it's not like I'm out there trying to like, check out chicks or whatnot. But I still like
Oh, what? Those are
those
fashionable?
are back. Yeah, yeah. And I
My
remember bringing
grandma wore those.
fucking exactly. And that's my point. I look around and I go, and then when I see women now, I literally think to myself, "Thank God I'm not single." I literally say that. I know it sounds like lip service to my wife, but it's fucking true because I've seen girls with socks and Birkenstocks, and not just like rando chicks, like girls that would be pretty, like in their early 20s, college age chicks wearing like black socks and fucking Birkenstocks. And
So
I
is that
think
like
it's
a
good-
retro wave?
dude? If I had the fucking answer, I probably wouldn't be so annoyed
Okay.
by it.
What
But
do you?
that's my
but
point.
What,
You got your
what
long
kind of-
pants with your long ass and your fucking socks and your Birkenstocks. Like, what the fuck happened?
Did they wear pants with them though, or shorts?
I've seen them with shorts, like with
long
high
socks?
waisted. What would normally be short. They wouldn't be short shorts, but because the waist goes up to their fucking belly button, it pulls it up their ass.
and high
then,
socks like halfway up your shin.
Like yeah, like
Wow.
black tube
What?
socks. Yeah, yeah.
I need to see an example of this.
No, you don't. No,
I
don't do that
probably
to
won't be
yourself.
attractive.
It looks like an old man that should be shuffling around a retirement home.
That's really weird. I don't
Now
know.
you can play the fucking music.
Welcome to episode 12.
Of the Unreasonably Angry podcast, my name is Eric.
And I'm Karian. How's it going? How's everyone doing now that we've got our fashion trends out of the way?
And I fully acknowledge I know nothing about fashion. Like
Oh,
somebody
yeah,
today
no.
sent me a picture of
We're
their
not
like,
qualified.
their watch, and they're like, "Hey, this is a watch I'm going to get if something happens. Like my fiance's going to buy it for me." And I was like, "Cool." And she goes, "Yeah, it's a Michael Kors watch." And I'm like, "That means nothing to me, but I'm glad you're excited for it." And she
See-
goes, "How do you not know?" And I'm like, I don't. A, I'm not a watch guy. B, I don't really care what the name on it says. If I like it, I like it. It can say like
Exactly.
PW balls on it, and as long as I like it, I'm
I was
cool.
just going to say, I am not the type to get interested in things that are named after people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
What
not
would
going to
PW stand for in PW balls?
probably piss water balls.
Piss water. Penis wedgie.
Penis wedgie.
Balls. The third.
Yeah, that's it. That's good.
So we wanted to start this week with a quick update. It's
yes.
our first update.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
That's how we know we've been around for a while.
Sure,
an
but it's for
update.
the last episode.
That's not really good news music.
Is that...
This just
Oh,
in. That kind
yeah.
of, I don't fuck me. I don't know.
Or we could do like John Williams, like da, 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 like Olympics.
Mine
like,
was really bad. Yeah.
da, 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 da,
There you go.
da.
Eric here for Unreasonably Angry Update.
Da, 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 da,
So it
da,
turns
da,
out
da, da, da.
That our podcast has a reach.
Okay.
Yeah. Because of our podcast, they decided to cut the diet drinks out of the soda tax.
Oh, because of our podcast?
Completely because of it.
That's awesome.
Now it's funny that it's because of our podcast since they actually did it before our podcast aired, but they knew we were going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
No, but so
planned it.
yeah, so they decided with the tax, they decided to cut the diet drinks out. And it was funny
good.
because they literally, I think they actually quoted saying that they realized that it was slightly, what's the word I'm looking for? Discriminatory, right? I mean, like it kind of was. I mean,
Yeah,
they
like
actually said,
Well, like I said last week, I said when you're taxing soda and it becomes a socioeconomic or socio-political issue,
you need to step back and go.
you should probably think about what you're doing.
Yeah, but that's good. So we'll kinda
Wait,
keep.
to catch them up, it was because
The city of Seattle wants to tax. They want to tax sugary drinks.
Yeah.
So energy drinks, soda fountain drinks, fruit juices that aren't 100% fruit juice. So the funny thing is, it's like some of it is like at the pump, and then some of it's like pre-bottled stuff. And they're gonna also tax Starbucks style pre-bottled drinks. And at first, they were going to attach diet drinks,
yeah,
which doesn't make any sense because the whole point is they're quote unquote fighting obesity. But then they're like, well, let's include diet drinks, which are I know it's not healthy, but it's healthier than regular soda. But then I think they realized that they were going to get a bunch of backlash. So like if we want this to pass, we can't piss everybody off.
yeah.
Then they decided to cut out the diet. Now, one of the points that I brought up last week was, where's Starbucks in this? You know, if you're taxing me, they're taxing the distributors, which is going to get passed to us. So it's basically taxing us.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to tax me for going up and filling up a soda at the soda machine, why, if you're making me a coffee and pushing a bunch of pumps of sugar into my coffee, why wouldn't I get taxed for that too?
Yeah.
But at this time, there's no clear answer on whether or not they're going to tax Starbucks for it, which I think is funny because they're labeling it under coffee or milk-based drinks at Starbucks. But it's like even the most milk-based drink still it's a fucking sugary mess. Like unless you're getting like an iced coffee with nothing in it. So to me, I think it's kind of funny that they're drawing the line there.
Well,
because they don't want to piss off their cash cow. I get it.
Yeah.
The amount of property tax and shit that must get paid by Starbucks to the city of Seattle's got to be astronomical.
That's a good point. So they're not going to include diet drinks.
No, so that's the key here. So,
Yeah.
but Kendall Jenner in her next commercial maybe just holds a Diet Pepsi as she marches through Seattle.
And then the cop is offended that she would hand a diet Pepsi.
He's less svelte.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that.
Speaking of Kendall Jenner, let's just move on to another K name, another K idiot.
So, yeah. Katy
of
Perry
woke.
did this live stream thing. I don't know. I think you know more about it than I do.
I know enough.
What I do know
be annoyed,
is
but-
that it was a stupid idea because I won't get into details, but
Why not?
Reddit had a field day with like she was like getting massaged at one point.
Dude, she was fucking on one.
So
like,
she just had a towel on a live stream.
She's
how did that get past her PR department?
she's on the precipice, dude. Like this is like people don't like it when they compare like, oh, what happened to Britney Spears when she shaved her head? Like, don't make fun of Britney. Like that.
I was too young for that.
Yeah, she shaved her head and like, I mean, she had real serious mental like things
And
that
she
she was going
was
through, which I
driving
get.
with a baby in the front seat.
Yeah,
or
which is
something.
all
Yeah.
terrible decisions. I'm not
Yes.
but people don't like the comparison. That was so long ago, leave her alone. But Katy Perry
It's a
had
vicious
actually
cycle.
made fun of that. Katy Perry had actually made a joke at one point saying, well, at least I haven't shaved my head yet. I'm like, ooh.
Well, don't throw stones from glass houses.
Right? So for those of you out there that are going, why the fuck are you guys talking about Katy Perry? Just bear with us. Because
Okay.
this is less just about Katy Perry as a person and more where we're fucking at now in society, that somebody actually had the ego and the balls to go, you know what? I'm going to videotape myself on the internet for 2 fucking days to promote my album because people need to see my...
What was the what?
She has a new album that's coming out.
No, I know.
It's
So-
purposeful and woke pop, Gary.
What is woke pop?
We already talked about this. Woke. Remember woke?
Right.
So her this is basically her saying my shit's enlightened, son. Like I'm gonna touch on topics that are important to the world.
The point for me was when she got on SNL.
Yeah.
There were 2 different songs. I didn't even see them all the way through. The first one though was like had some Last Supper symbolism or something. It was a long table, and there were people sitting around it. Anyway,
Okay.
there was a break in the song for a few different people to rap. I don't even know who they were.
Is it The Weeknd? Is that who it is?
No, because I don't think they were that big of a deal.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea who anybody
The
is.
Weekend is such a big deal. That makes anyway. It makes me how angry how popular he is. But anyway.
Dude, I only honestly, as far as rap goes, I've heard the name The Weeknd. I know who Kendrick Lamar is, and I know who Drake is, and I can't stand Drake because of his antics at the Raptor games. But anyway, keep going.
Anyway, it was the way that she behaved during those raps.
Yeah.
It like made it on the subreddit, the subreddit white people gifs.
GIFs? God damn it.
White people gifs. As angry as you are at me, we're gonna get some people writing in like, what the fuck? How is this guy qualified to do a podcast? Anyway,
That's the fun part about a podcast. You'll be qualified for shit.
that's true.
Clearly.
No. She was like doing the most awful like
dancing or
yes, like white person dancing. It was so bad.
Yeah.
And she was like, it was
Have
so
you
bad.
looked at the words? Have you looked at any of the words to any of these songs that she sings now? Like, no, okay, let's do a little research here. Let's do a little backstepping.
Are we really diving this much
No,
into
we're
it?
not. We're not. But
Okay.
my point is for this is we're basically we're not understanding a pop culture person, a pop culture phenomenon. She's a mainstream pop culture. She's looked up to by people like little girls, look up to her. When she first came out, like the I Kissed a Girl time, right?
Yeah,
I kissed a girl.
That's when I first heard about her.
Yeah, so I think it's what most people heard about her.
Yeah.
So she didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all. Like I was like, okay, it's listenable. It doesn't bother me. And then like the song "Roar" came out, which is like a female empowerment song. I'm like, okay, cool, all right. And then she did that movie about her. Like that was a big thing for a couple years.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
like Justin Bieber did one and she did one. And apparently, I mean, she's done a lot of really nice things for her fans. So I'm like, okay, cool. She seems like a legitimately like nice person. Doesn't seem too off the wall, batshit crazy. She's pretty, So like when the songs came on, they didn't bother me.
Okay.
This last little bit, she has crossed over into pop culture. I hate you. Like she's becoming one of those people. Like
Well,
where it's like you can't get out of your own way.
well,
Like
she's,
when I'm hearing back and forth between her and Taylor Swift beefing, I'm like, there's literally nothing I care less about than 2 rich people arguing about like backup dancers or some shit. Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't know.
And yet you're this woke person. You're purposeful pop, and you're literally going on. And the only reason I know about any
there's
of
a
this,
lot of hypocrisy. Yeah.
but yeah, because of James Corden, because he does that stupid carpool karaoke thing, which is like huge for everybody. And I basically hate everyone that goes on there. Like I've turned on a couple times, more like with the reason people watch Jersey Shore. Like I know it's going to be awful and I'm going to hate them for it, but I keep expecting somebody to show on and I go, hey, I like this person. They're cool. Nope.
No.
It's always somebody doing something stupid.
Well, it's also
His excuse to-
James Corden can be great sometimes, but sometimes he can be really annoying. I don't know if it's just me.
He's
but
very it's almost like
no, he has that persona where he's like
I don't know if
he's
it's an actor,
egomaniac where he's like full of himself, but it's so fake and stupid.
Is it? I can't ever get a feel on it. So I'm like, it's like that friend you have that goes, I'm not a good singer. I can't sing. And then you go to karaoke and they're like busting out Whitney Houston and shit.
Well,
Not great.
He's a good singer.
But I know.
I just
So
mean,
it's like he gives himself extra opportunities to show people, look, I can sing. That's what I get out of it.
I don't know. Anyway,
know.
let's backtrack.
But anyway, she got like this big thing about how like her and Taylor Swift were like arguing and beefing. I'm like, what the fuck? Like this is the thing?
Dude, wait a second.
Yeah.
We gotta slow down here because I just realized what's happening. We're wearing headphones, like with mics in front of our face, talking about pop stars. Are we on the radio right now? Are we a radio show? Wait, okay. Let's get back to angry territory. So,
well, no, I'm angry.
She
at
was
me.
like, no, I know. Like, what's going on?
What happened in my life?
I'm just taking a step back here. So what I think is happening to her currently is what happens to a lot of pop stars. There's a time when they blow up, and then they plateau for a while, and they have a few albums that sell really well, and then what happens is they have to stay relevant.
Okay.
And that is the dangerous territory.
Yeah.
Like, it's different between pop stars and bands, because bands like pop stars are like, they're stars. They're like idols. They're American
They're
idols.
celebrities.
They're celebrities.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have this persona. It's not really just all about the music. It's more about just like the
about who they
overall-
are, about them.
Yeah.
Like
so you
Jessica
have like
Simpson having a fucking
Beyonce.
TV show about her getting married.
Right. And then Selena Gomez has to like act as well as sing and like do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, but as soon as they stop becoming like as popular, they feel like they have to like stay on that trajectory and like head back up. Like they have to like compete with the other ones, like trying to stay relevant and sell. And so like you have the Britney Spears thing where she shaved her head. I mean, who knows if she did it all for attention? We can't really judge.
My guess
that.
is she had some real shit going on, and if
That's
she got
the
help and
thing.
got better, great. That's great.
That's the thing. Her and Lindsay Lohan and like that
God.
kind of thing. That's a whole other.
Miley Cyrus.
That's like spiraling out of control.
Yep.
But then there's the like out of control. That's like. They're doing it on purpose,
Yeah.
and they're like still trying to get
So
attention.
my point about this whole thing, about the Katy Perry thing, like
Yeah.
I'm realizing, especially as I get older. Now, I'm not angry at Katy Perry.
Sure.
Okay. If she existed in the world and I never heard about it, it wouldn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
The reason it frustrates me, and the reason I'm even talking about it, is because every time I go to my phone to look anything up, like on Google, the Google cards that pop up,
Yeah.
every single day there's been at least 3 about Katy Perry. Now, I understand they're pushing
And
her new
Reddit
album.
and
I get it.
Facebook.
I fucking get it. That's great. But one of our favorite bands released an album this week too. And so I look at it and I go, yeah, they've gotten a decent amount of attention, but Fleet Foxes hasn't videotaped themselves. No, literally, this is a dead serious thing. She
imagining
compared the sex of 3 different guys that she had sex with that are famous. Publicly on the thing.
Oh.
Some guy named Diplo, whatever the fuck that is. I don't even know. It's a sound,
We
I
don't
guess.
even know. We don't even.
Isn't
need to know his
Diplo like the
names.
company that makes the blocks, like the fake Legos? Duplo. Close enough. Close enough.
She found out how to fit that peg.
She's like, yeah, it was really rough and edgy. So Diplo, whatever. John Mayer, and then Orlando Bloom.
I don't even know this.
No. She was comparing on a thing about which one of them were better lovers. And I'm like, why are we as a people, why now
Why do
society, this is what we have to do to sell music.
Yeah.
Like, now it's not a new thing to be
Or to stay
outlandish.
popular.
Elvis Presley got up and danced, and it like fired people up, and people could say, well, that's just what he was doing. And some people could say, well, he played a little bit more up while he was on Ed Sullivan to get people all riled up, because people back then, there was the people that couldn't stand Elvis because of his antics, and the people that were more intrigued because of his antics. Madonna with her cone bras that she wore on MTV.
Yeah.
You know, there are all these things. But what I don't understand now is why we've gotten to a point where we seriously just like lose respect for ourselves and are willing to just act so irresponsibly and so ridiculously. And we actually have millions of people tuning in watching it. They actually hooked me enough that I paid attention to it for a minute.
Well, I think this is the point in the discussion where I bring in the increasingly like the thing that we always talk about when we're talking about issues.
Social media.
Social media. It's really the problem for it's the reason everything is a problem. It's like everything is more accessible.
It's the tool
everything
that allows us
less,
to be.
There's no censorship. There's no like limits. There's no limit to what you could live stream for 2 days to promote your album. You could do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And like, I guess we're just throwing PR out the window and like.
Well, no, do you honestly
wearing
think,
nothing but a towel on a live stream
Do you
and
not
talking
think
about
that
having sex with people?
But do you not think that the PR was involved in that? You don't think that they sat down and discussed that
No,
to see
they
what that
are,
was going to do? Yeah.
But they're willingly just like not even giving a shit on purpose.
Yeah.
It's like, it's insane.
Anyway.
Anyway,
And that's the thing is, but I mean.
so that's pop stars. But even when it is about the music, even with bands who do focus on music, they will change their sound to sell more. To like a good example for me, one of my favorite bands is Coldplay, and it's obviously an extremely popular band. So a lot of people say that one of my favorite bands is Coldplay.
Well, no, see, for a little while there was that backlash of Coldplay's not cool, bro. Coldplay's not cool.
Oh,
Coldplay's not cool.
That's the thing. Is like when people get popular,
it's not cool to like them.
Exactly. Like, and that's like the initial stage.
Just
like,
so that
right
people
when they
understand,
become huge.
I don't not like Katy Perry. I think she's fine, and I don't not like her because of her music. I don't like the shenanigans that she's doing right now.
Sure.
And it's popping up on goddamn cell phone, and I'm having to hear about her and Taylor Swift. I'm like, there's literally nobody I care less about in the world than Taylor Swift. Right. So when you're attaching yourself to her to get media attention, I'm like, Jesus Christ. But anyway, Coldplay's new song. Coldplay's new stuff.
So they just came out with a single Friday.
Okay.
Friday. And they're coming out with an EP next month.
Okay.
And it's great. It reminds me a lot of their old stuff.
Okay.
Which is what I want to get at, is that their last studio album, I did not care for.
I don't remember listening to it much.
It had like 4 singles that were on the radio, and it was huge. Was it last year? I think it might have been the year before. But anyway, it was what I'm talking about. They were molding and shaping their sound to fit into like top 40 and like the most possible listenable, digestible, like hookable shit that they could think of.
Well, they're in all kinds of movies and commercials and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, and there's not necessarily a problem with having 10 producers on one album. It's
just hard to find One Direction when you have 10 people doing that.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the band One Direction, because they're dreamy.
Whatever. But I'm just skipping right over that. It just felt like it was too scattered. It didn't have one sound. It didn't sound like Coldplay to me. It sounded like
you have too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah, it didn't sound like Coldplay sounds like.
Yeah.
And these new singles thankfully do, and I'm hopeful for the EP. But their trajectory is like they got really popular, and then initially when a band gets really popular, it's what you're talking about, where it's not cool to like them, because like you have like the counterculture going, oh, they're getting really popular, so we have
Yeah.
to say that it's not cool to like them because we don't like things that are popular.
Well,
It's like
that-
all of Reddit basically.
No, so Coldplay, so I was there from the beginning because I mean,
Yeah.
it came out when I was a teenager, 15, 16, 17. I remember Yellow. I remember the music video
Mm-hmm.
for Yellow. I remember the music video for Trouble and was like, that's a fucking awesome music video.
Because it was like around MTV era where
Yeah.
like bands would like,
Then you'd actually have like a release for like their new music videos, like a big fucking deal.
yeah,
Most of the time I got shit for listening to Coldplay because it wasn't like,
cool music.
no, well, not even just not cool music. It was just too soft. Like it's too emo. It's too sad, bro. And I'm like, I don't really care, really,
Isn't
because
that funny how they used to be known for like depressing, like mellow music, but
see,
now
but that's
now
the thing,
their pop hits are like feel good, happy, upbeat.
and then you have the other group of people that are like mad at them for that. It's just it's a
Yeah.
fucking, you can't please
They
everybody.
can't win exactly.
And that's the thing. We and I have always kind of been the type of people. I like all kinds of random shit. Like I
Yeah.
like. I mean, I still like. I just found a new rock band that I really liked. And I'm like interested in checking out more of their shit, like harder rock. Because I was listening to Queens of the Stone Age, and somebody's like, "You should check out Royal Blood." And I was listening to some of their stuff, and I was like, "These guys
yeah.
are pretty fucking good."
Yeah,
And then I was also listening to this other Australian like punk band from Australia, obviously because they're Australian. And they were pretty good too. It's a little harder than what I listen to now, but I still have respect for that type of music.
cool.
But then at the same time, I'll listen to Fleet Foxes. And so what I notice is it's what you're saying. It's like you go based off like what they were hated for before, what they're hated for now, and you hope that they don't lose touch of who they are.
Yeah,
Now there are times though when people don't change enough as musicians and don't grow, and everything sounds exactly the same, and you outgrow their music.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's a tricky thing. So
So I have a couple bands in mind from what you just said. First of all, from bands that like you grow out of.
yeah,
Paramore. They started as a punk rock band, like I want to say like 10 or 15 years ago now. It's been a while.
I remember Misery
were really
Business.
young.
Like I remember that song, and like one of my friend's little sisters liked it, and I would have been 20-ish. So 14
They were
years?
young. I think Hayley Williams was like 16 or 17.
Yeah, she was really young when they first started. Yeah,
So the thing about them is like their music seems like it never like grew out of high school
Yeah.
era. Like
yeah. Well,
they
because
just
they were
sing
doing
about
what worked
like
for them.
drama and stuff. And part of the reason is because they have a lot of drama in their band. Like they have people coming and going all the time.
See, I
But,
don't know that.
But anyway, but their most recent album was like my favorite stuff I've heard from them
Yeah.
by far, and it's like I love it. I can't stop listening to it.
The new album.
Yeah,
And the thing is their core fan base fucking hates it. Like I keep reading
that's
left
what's
and
funny
right
is
about people
like
hate it.
It's so different.
And what I've heard from it, I like it the most of anything they've done since
Right.
like Misery Business, which I actually liked as a song. I thought it was a
Yeah.
good song.
So I feel like when a band gets really popular, they have to decide what they're gonna do. Like they either decide that they're gonna be like Coldplay and they're gonna change their sound to keep selling records. They're gonna be like Paramore where they have people leaving and like they had like legal disputes over like rights with band members in the band. Like
Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah, it was dramatic. But Haley and Taylor has been in there for a long time, have been trying to keep making albums, and now they are a huge success with this new one.
Yeah.
But and then you have ones that are just become less relevant because they don't keep up with they
Grow,
still
change,
right,
evolve.
they
Yeah.
sound like the same.
Yeah.
And then my other example was Muse, which is one of my favorite bands. They're a rock band from the UK.
I'd find it really hard to believe that
Believe
people
it,
don't
no
know
one
who
knows
Muse
about
is.
them. They're kind of up there with Coldplay now, but because they sell out the same size stadiums. But that's the problem, is they did the same thing as Coldplay. They part of it is not just conforming their sounds, but also like overproducing them. Like
God, that's
Like,
the fucking
they're-
button right there, dude. They every song they sing, it's just like, dude,
Muse's
could you stop it?
their last album, I was excited for it because it had sounds that were similar to their original stuff.
Yeah.
But after listening to it for like a month, I haven't listened to it since because it's so clean and overproduced and just like you don't like something as simple as you don't hear the guitar being played anymore. You just
We've
hear
literally
like,
ventured into the unreasonably angry music reviews.
well, it's yeah.
Hey, we
it's
promised
something
it.
I'm
We
angry
promised it on the first episode. We promised it.
Yeah.
We promised music reviews. We haven't done any of them.
about. But
So fucking whatever. I don't know.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I fully fucking agree. Like that's
Yeah.
that's basically how I felt. So Muse for you is how Incubus was for me.
Oh yeah.
Their old albums are great. I loved fucking Morning View is still an amazing album. I still go back and listen to it. I have a friend out there who fucking hates Incubus, so he's like, "Argh." And then after that album came out, there were a couple songs off like the next two albums that were okay, and then they just kind of. And I don't feel like they grew. They didn't change enough. Their lyrics got kind of stale. It almost felt like they didn't have it anymore. Like they weren't really in it to do it anymore. Like they wanted to keep playing music, but they didn't have anything to write about.
I know.
That's the kind of thing I can start to see. I'm like, is it just that you ran out of things to write about? You know
I
what
know
mean?
people say that people have always said that rock is dying or dead, but like I really do feel like bands like Incubus and Paramore and Muse and even Coldplay was, you know, soft rock, but rock. Bands like those in the aughts, like last decade, that were really big, they're now doing like sampled, like overproduced
The electronic
pop
stuff really fucking.
So there's like,
Yeah.
I mean, rock bands are dying, like especially recently. It seems like.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing is but like if you look at like Queens of the Stone Age just released a new single, it's good. And
Yeah,
it's
but
rock.
they're not on the radio. They're not like
They are.
mainstream.
Queens of the Stone Age is on the radio, not a
Are
ton. They usually have 2 or 3 songs that are on the radio. The thing is, but that's the thing is that's what we're fucking.
But
talking
they're on the
about.
rock station.
But that's what we're talking about, though.
Yeah.
Like we.
I don't know.
A band
I
doesn't
might
have
be
to be on the-
speaking out of
Well,
like
you might be overthinking it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are stations, at least up here in Seattle, that would play that kind of music. There's rock stations that play that kind of stuff. I grew
well,
up.
Seattle's. An
I grew up in
anomaly.
Sacramento listening to rock on rock stations. That's how I learned a lot of bands when
Yeah.
I was a teenager. The problem is I'm not a mainstream radio person either. Like I don't listen to the radio to find out new bands. I use Spotify for that. Like, or I use Pandora. Like I'll listen to those things and I'll look at the related artists and I go, okay, well, what bands are connected to these, and I'll check them out and see if I like them.
And
I'll go see them at a show.
It doesn't
and go,
matter if they're popular or mainstream.
No, I don't give
like,
2 fucks about
exactly.
that.
It's just the music.
The
Yeah.
the only downside about a band not being quote unquote popular is you don't always get to see them in a city that you live in.
Oh yeah.
Luckily, we live in Seattle, so fucking everybody comes here, which is great. But I don't give a shit if it's cool or not. Like I remember as like get off my Lonnie as like I can get at times. When when I heard their music, they got one of their songs was played for the 2004 Olympics.
Mew is one of your.
Mew is one of my favorite bands. They're a Danish band. They're fucking amazing. Like
Yeah.
I love them. But
Look 'em up.
I purposely didn't tell people about their music a lot for a long time because I didn't want fake fans. And it sounds so fucking elitist and snobby of me, but I was also in my early 20s and I was like, well, fuck you. If you can't find them on your own, then fuck off. But I would like play music for people and they go, yeah, it's pretty good. And I'm like, well, you don't appreciate this. You know,
Well, it takes
but what ended
some
up
time
happening
to
is
appreciate it.
I like when you go to a show and you know that everybody's there.
Yeah.
Is there because they love the band. Like that to me means a lot. So I didn't want like shitty kids because at this time I'm around all these scenester kids that would like their favorite band would change week over week, and meanwhile I'm like itching and waiting for this band's next album to come out, kind of like what we just did with Fleet Foxes.
We talked about your experience with. Did we talk about your experience with the Fleet Foxes concert?
Yeah, we
on
did
the podcast.
Yeah, the Hollywood and the bros with the beers.
People-
I was there
Yeah, people just coming not for the music, but just to say
they
were
went.
there. Yeah.
Fuck you if you do that. I
That's
hate
the
that.
problem with bands
Don't,
becoming.
I mean, really, don't do anything.
It's
like
another
that.
problem with bands becoming popular. So you have the fan base, like a disingenuous fan base sometimes,
Well,
and like, or at least part of it.
People like to follow people. People like to do what they think other people are going to be impressed by. Like we need to see people
that's
do that
just
shit.
group of people.
People
That's
like
not
to go fucking like take vacations to places that aren't really like something that you wouldn't think they'd want to go do, and they go do it so they can
Getting
say
deja
they
vu.
went.
I think we had this exact same discussion.
Maybe
before.
I don't know. It's that fucking drives me nuts. And they go, "Oh, I went to da da," and you're like, "Why?" And like, 'cause
Please
it's
don't come
cool.
to Seattle just to say you came here.
Yeah, well, if you want to
While
come to
we're on
Seattle,
it.
that's fine. But don't come here and say Pike's Place. Just don't do that. Fuck.
Yeah.
I've only been here 3 years. That pisses me off.
And for the record, Columbia Tower has a better view than the Space Needle.
It really does.
And you can see the Space Needle
And you
from
get
it.
coffee for cheap. But the Space Needle's getting a renovation, and that looks pretty rad.
That's true.
That's not what
Speaking
we're
of Spotify and Seattle, something to get mad about. There was a while back. There was a Spotify playlist for Seattle,
Yeah.
and I started listening to it, and I immediately got extremely enraged.
Why?
Okay, well, first of all, there was no Pearl Jam, there was no Nirvana, there was no Soundgarden.
Okay.
There was it was like I don't know
Macklemore?
what they were thinking. It was like I don't know. There was some rap, there was some indie weird. I was like, what? How is this a playlist for Seattle?
Yeah, that's the
It clearly wasn't a Seattleite who made it.
No, but that's the thing though. If you're a Seattleite, there's something about Seattleites that love to do this thing right here. I love Seattle. I'm going to talk about the things that are special to Seattle that you wouldn't know about. Because if you know about it, it's not that cool about Seattle.
Maybe that's what it is.
It's like, fuck
maybe
off.
it wasn't not a Seattleite
You know what?
that made the playlist,
Yes,
but it was
I'm a fucking
Seattleite.
douchebag poser because I happen to like Soundgarden, and then I moved to Seattle. That's right. Fuck me. People do that everywhere though. Like if you think about it in
That's
Orange
true.
County, and you know the people you go down to visit, and people are excited to go to Disneyland for their second time, and then the people that live there, I see Disneyland every time I drive to work. It's not that cool. It's like,
I do remember
God.
people like that.
It's the same thing. People
My
do
sister
that.
works at Disneyland.
Yeah.
I go there every few months. Anyway, no, what were we talking about?
We're kind of talking about mainstream and how
what does mainstream mean?
I guess when I hear mainstream, I guess now I try not to say it as much because it does have a whole negative connotation to it. But mainstream to me usually means something that everybody would know about or that most people would enjoy just because it's
that's
safe
the funny
and vanilla.
That's the funny thing is people who listen to quote unquote mainstream music,
Yeah.
wouldn't call it mainstream. They would say I just listen to what's popular. I listen to
because-
popular music.
Well, I think that's the thing is I think popular kind of goes hand in hand with that.
Right.
Pop culture as a whole, pop music has a negative connotation to it when you say, well, it's just pop music because you're thinking bubblegum pop, things that are there for a minute and it's a flash in
Yeah.
the pan.
Yeah.
But you can be a pop artist and be around for a really fucking long time. I mean, I don't know. I try not to get caught up in it anymore just because then I would just be angry all the live long day because there's so many fucking things that are popular that I fucking hate. But
Yeah.
I'm trying really hard to understand.
Well, there's a Neil Young song. What is it? Oh my, or my something. Where he says rock and roll is here to stay.
Okay.
Blah blah blah. You know that one?
Yeah.
And one of the lines is it's better to burn bright than to fade away.
Mhm.
And the way I take that is he's saying that if you can shine brightly and make a huge impact in a short period of time, it's better than
Not at all.
not at all and
Yeah.
fading out of relevance and
That's like how people make fun of one-hit wonders. And it's like, yeah, but if you didn't have one-hit wonders, you wouldn't have a 50s compilation album.
right. And not just that,
And I
but
love
bands
those.
yeah, and not just that, but bands who make albums,
Yeah.
but just one album and it's the best album ever or whatever.
Yeah, there's definitely bands that I've listened to where I'm like, man, that album is really good. Why didn't they make another good album?
Yeah.
It's fucking hard. It's
Exactly.
it's like this fucking
Like,
podcast.
either
Not
the
every
band-
episode's great.
Right. Either the band split up or they lost inspiration or
No, yeah. I mean, there's
they didn't
so
want to
many
change their
things.
sound.
Yep.
So-
or somebody dies.
Right.
Yep.
So I think
here, it's a great example of that. The guys who sing "No Rain," Blind Melon.
oh yeah, exactly.
"No Rain" is an immense one-hit wonder. You'd
Yeah.
call them one-hit wonder, but
And it's a great song.
I know other Blind Melon songs. Shout out to Jeff. He used to listen to them all the time. They have other very, very good songs.
I should listen to more of them.
But
yeah.
he died. He killed
Yeah.
himself, and so committed suicide, whatever how you want to say it. And so they never really got the traction that you would have expected. I think they could have really done a lot. Now people from Seattle would be like, "Oh, I know more stuff about them. They were a great band." It's like, yeah, that's the point. But the mainstream groups didn't always get to mainstream people that listen to mainstream music didn't get to hear that stuff.
Yeah.
But you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that doesn't know the song "No Rain." Everybody fucking knows that song.
yeah.
The Bumblebee girl. She was
Yeah.
the Bumblebee.
well, so I
She
think
was the Bumblebee, Gary. I don't know.
so I think that we're losing the idea. I think bands nowadays are they don't want to do either. They don't want to just burn brightly and then die, and they don't want to fade away. They want to always stay relevant and
Yeah.
stay on the radio and do whatever it takes to, always be on people's playlists. So it's like,
Yeah. Well, nobody wants to like waste. I mean, nobody wants to waste away. Everybody wants to be forever. But
so
I think once you're comfortable with the fact that you're not going to be forever, that you just need to like make the best of what you can while you can.
Exactly.
That's put more effort and things are more genuine.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you don't think, I feel like as an artist myself, if I didn't feel like
I'm an artist.
yeah, that sounds pretentious.
No, it's funny though. It's good.
But no, really, if I like hit it big and then I felt like I was losing it, like either I wasn't in touch with what people wanted to hear, or I didn't have anything left to say, or whatever, I wouldn't want to just keep trying to pedal on and like just regurgitate whatever to stay in public eye. I would
think
just
people
say,
become
okay, I
addicted
think
to
that's
that.
it.
You become addicted to the celebrity. You become addicted to
Yeah.
You know, like for me, I've played shows. I was in a band when I was younger, and there was nothing cooler than playing a set in front of a group of people that know the words to your song. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
That being said, at least for me, the day that we plug our microphones in, the day that we put our headphones on and we can't think of something to talk about, is the day that I go, you know what, dude, the podcast is done.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't want to keep doing it. It's because for me, I don't want to be the guy who's just doing something to do it. Don't go through the motions. Like if you don't care about it, go do something else. Go put your passion into something else. Because that's how we create good things, is by really giving it a shot. Like really doing it when you care. Mm-hmm. Speaking of caring,
Yeah.
this is a terrible segue to Wonder Woman.
Whatever. Oh, okay.
So I know you've seen it already.
Yeah.
I personally, we've talked about some superhero movies. We talked about comic book movies on the podcast before.
Spoilers? Are we doing spoilers?
No, I think when we talk about movies like this, I think we should do a better job of not being too spoilery within
Yeah, we don't
reason.
have to.
Yeah, I just think that way more people can listen and not, oh, they're going to spoil it. But at the same time, if it's something from like 8 years ago, like if we were talking about Superman 1 right now, or Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire, and we were like, oh yeah, that one part, so I was like, god damn it, I haven't seen it yet. That's a different story.
Yeah, shut up.
God, I have a long way of going about making fun of things. Anyway, so I saw Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
When it first got announced, I wasn't super interested. I didn't see all of Batman vs Superman yet. I keep meaning to, I just haven't watched it yet. But when the movie came out, I was like, it looks okay. It looks fine. But the reviews were great. And I'm like, okay, cool. The reviews are great. And then people I know started to tell me, hey, it was actually a really fucking good movie. Like, it wasn't just a superhero movie. It was a good movie. And there's not just like wild and crazy shit. Like, everything kind of traces back to her being a kid and like understanding how she got trained. And you're like, oh, okay. So I decided, hey, I'd taken my wife to see Alien. I had taken her to see It Comes at Night. I owed her a movie that wasn't terrifying, bloody, or disgusting. So I said, hey, let's go see that. And I gotta say, it worked really well. Like, they did a fucking great job.
Yeah.
Like, the action was great, the acting was great, the cinematography, the direction was really, really good.
Cinematography was phenomenal.
To play the cheesy, I literally said this line, and I can't believe I said this line. As a dad of soon to be 2 girls, it's nice to have a female superhero that doesn't suck.
Oh yeah.
And I said it as the movie was about 15 minutes in. I looked over at my wife and I go, I think this movie is going to be what I hoped Brave would be.
Yeah.
You know, it's a relationship with her mom. She leaves
yeah.
her place and she goes and she fucking whoops ass, man.
Yeah.
And not like over the top whoops ass. Like, everything done had a purpose, had a reason. She cared enough about everybody.
I loved how much she cared about.
And that's where like that's my segue works.
Oh,
caring.
There you go. No, really, like, especially her performance.
Yeah.
Gal Gadot's performance was just.
Isn't it Godot? Is it not?
No, actually,
Is it Gadot?
Yeah.
Wow.
People have been saying Godot as if she was French, but she's Iranian and
No, she's Israeli.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And
Like Natalie Portman.
and she was
Israel
on
pumps out some
Kimmel,
talent.
I think, and she was saying it's Godot. Like,
Godot.
with the
All right.
yeah. Anyway, her performance, like, I love how she she cared so much about humanity and like trying to save people and like
And she did it in a way
trying to stop the war and destruction and like and it like it really meshed well with Chris Pine's character, where you had like this, he was kind of representing
Selective.
how the world felt about this war, because it was the First World War.
Yeah.
And it was like
the Great War.
Great War, and where everyone like didn't know how like the scale of it, and they're like, why are we doing this? How is this possible?
Yeah.
Like everyone's fighting everywhere. It's crazy. And then you have her going, yeah, it is crazy. And then like that's
Why
how
are you
they
doing
bounce
it?
on. Yeah, why are you even doing it in the first place? Yeah.
I think she did a really good job of caring, and so I'm going to use this term, and I know people hate this term, but it was she cared without being an overly bleeding heart. It wasn't just like unnecessary, like she wasn't weeping for everybody. She wasn't just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry for everything. Everything's bad.
Well, because she was doing shit about
That's
it.
the thing. Like you can bleed your heart dry as long as you do something. Don't just sit there and whine about it.
Just getting shit
and she
done.
would get to a point where like she cared so much, but she didn't back out. She didn't puss out. There was no hesitation. She's like, I'm going to go kill this person. I'm going to go whoop some ass. There was no like she was more badass and vicious than Batman gets to be. Like, if you really think about it, Batman's like, nope, not going to kill anybody, which, don't get me wrong, Batman's my favorite. Love Batman.
Yeah.
But she didn't, there was no hesitation. She's like, if I'm going to go whoop some ass, I'm going to go whoop some ass.
Yeah.
Because
Do or die.
this is my purpose. My purpose is to go and rip shit up. But everything was done with a responsible peace of mind, with a thought, shifting over. I also love that they didn't force feed us a love story. Like, there was romance, but it wasn't like...
That's true.
She wasn't a damsel in distress.
Natural.
She wasn't and somebody mentioned this on another podcast. I can't fucking remember. It might have been the Tell 'em Steve Dave podcast. But they were also talking about how the guys weren't bumbling idiots. Like, whenever there's these movies, it's like, if you're a superhero man, there's a bumbling, like, damsel in distress, right? There's some woman who can't take care of herself. Which is kind of why we liked the newer version of Lois Lane, because Amy Adams brings a strength to it that hasn't always been there.
True.
Then you have the versions of movies where women are the superhero. The guys are morons or they're jerks. It's the main problem I have with Frozen. As much as people love that movie, I didn't feel like there was a redeeming male character. Except for Olaf. Which is also the reason I liked Tangled, because the male character and the female character were both awesome.
They both had flaws and they both had strengths.
And they both had purpose.
Like, maybe human beings in real life.
Fuck, you don't have to shit on one sex to promote the other. You don't have to do
exactly.
Which is a whole nother fucking episode. But so there was never a point where she, like, if she was, like, not in trouble, but if she was vulnerable, he was there for her, and if he was vulnerable, she was there for him.
Yeah,
but they
both got shit done.
They both did their own
stuff.
Felt so like it was fucking nice. It was nice to great. Like, yeah, man. And so I'm hoping, and you know, it was funny. Somebody stupid that we know said something about women directors, and I know it was like a passing comment about like women directors, and I thought, I was like, well, no, there's some.
Have you seen The Hurt Locker?
Right, but the thing is, she did such a great job. Like, I hope that the person, and I know he's just being a ball buster, but I want to shove it in his face. 'Cause I'm like, she did a great job. And the thing is, I think he actually did acknowledge like how great the movie was. He's like, it's a really fucking good movie.
It's so good.
But no, it's nice to see like, and these are the kind of things that happen that make me go, when I get really mad about the gender conversations. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, make a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a male or female superhero, be a good movie.
Matter.
Tell a good story.
Exactly.
Make me care. And I cared about her. Like, I actually cared about her as a character. I liked that it was like almost like a fish out of water story. Yeah. At the same time, she's a superhero, but she's a fish out of water.
Yeah.
Like, it was just fucking great. And I know I'm just kind of gushing, and there's nothing really to be angry about.
Whoa. Here
we go.
This is what we can be angry about, though. Is why can't all comic book movies be this good?
Because not all comic book movies have the same writers and directors.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is that if we get back into the mainstream thing, like for every music producer you have regurgitating Coldplay's newest album, you have a movie studio like Sony or the MCU or the DCU.
Yeah.
Who is it, DCU or DCCU? How does that work? Like
DC, I don't know.
It's DC the universe. Cinematic. Anyway, you have them regurgitating like the comic book movies, and the Marvel movies. The thing is, they like we were talking about how many of them are like 80 or 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, and which is all well and good because they're good movies.
They are what they are,
but they're not.
They're usually popcorn movies, and popcorn movies are allowed to be popcorn movies.
But the thing that frustrates me is that Wonder Woman shows you what they could be.
Well, which goes back
there's
to...
no reason Captain America couldn't be that earnest, eager, like, compelling character rather than just a suit of armor
Yeah.
and a shield who like kicks ass.
Now, to be fair, maybe to some people, the second and third one, I haven't seen them both, but I've heard they were both very good.
They were better than the first.
DC's done a
but-
good job of that in the past. Like
Yeah.
if you just skip over Suicide Squad, yeah, I don't know how well the character
I
developed
haven't
in that.
seen it still.
But the Nolan Batmans did a fucking great job at developing that.
Yeah.
Now, two more really quick points that I wanted to point about the movie.
Sure.
I literally leaned over to my wife at one point and said, how beautiful of a woman do you have to be for them to have you in like early 20th century London garb with a fucking dress from your ankles all the way up to your neck and a hat on and still look beautiful? You know what I mean? Like, that's a special
She
talent.
has a very pretty face.
Yeah, exactly. And so Serena
Yeah.
goes, yeah, she's just so pretty.
She is like, her eyes are stunning.
They were able to make her beautiful. And as a man watching this movie going, man, she's just hot.
Yeah.
Without her being sexualized.
Yeah.
Which, not to get too much on that topic, but they didn't make her, there were no
There
butt
wasn't
shots.
a ton of cleavage.
There was no
wasn't,
Joel
like-
Schumacher, Batman and Robin nipple shot. You know, look
And
at the-
here,
look at
let's say when she was walking up the stairs to get on into no man's
Yeah.
land,
Yeah.
Chris Pine didn't go back and go, don't look at my skirt, like
Yeah,
something
yeah,
stupid
exactly.
like
There
that.
were so many opportunities they could have like shit the bed and they didn't.
Right?
Yeah.
they didn't. Yeah.
And the last thing I wanted to say was I really liked that they touched on all the like everything that she did, all her powers, all her abilities.
Yeah.
They explained why they were there. It wasn't just like this thing that happened, like the lasso of truth and all those things. Because I remember little bits of them from reading about in the past, the TV
Yeah.
shows and things like that. But it was a fucking great movie. So we saw it at RPX, which was still nice. The speakers were a little bit louder, but the the seats there, they have like the recliners. Every single time somebody like raised or lowered their seats, it sounded like a gigantic fart in the theater, and it kept happening at like quiet moments in the movie, and you hear like the groups of adults chuckling because it was really. So the guy next to me, I literally by like the third or fourth time this happens, his wife's laughing. He goes, you hear him go, "Really? It's not that funny." And I'm like, "Oh shit!"
I'm gonna save the world.
Yeah, and not to sound too fucking pissy about stupid shit, though that's the basis of this podcast.
Yeah.
I fucking hate movie theaters that put the butter on the popcorn for you instead of you having the ability to go do it. Like you hand the popcorn and go to the butter thing. And not having, yeah, this is first world shit right here.
I'm not relating to this because of my allergy.
You don't have butter, but you can relate to this. Get a fucking Coca-Cola Freestyle machine. Let me go over to the machine.
They don't have one?
No, I had they had like 6 choices and they fill it for
What
you.
year is it?
The Regal over here.
What year are they in?
Well, yeah, I don't fucking know, but it's a stupid thing to get mad about, but it made me mad.
It's a
Man.
first world problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally first world.
Nothing like a good first world problem to end.
Like, how
end the
dare
episode.
you let me scan my tickets in off my cell phone, but not let me pick my own drink?
Thank you for listening to episode 12.
Of the Unreasonably Angry Podcast.
We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please rate and review us on Facebook and or iTunes.
Or really any app, any podcast
Anywhere,
app. So I
anywhere
found
you
out-
can review us, please
Yeah,
review us.
like
Yeah.
Podcast Addict has a review feature. I think doesn't Pocket Cast have one?
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
So just let us know how you feel, and let everyone else know how you feel. And just like let people know. I mean, just no, really. Like,
you're enjoying the show,
if you're
share the
enjoying
show.
it and you think that a friend of yours might like it, pass it on.
Yeah, like a good case of herpes.
Sure. Infect us with your friend. I mean, I don't know.
Then as always, if you have any ideas, thoughts, topics, questions, comments, concerns, you just want to add on to what we said, shoot us an email at at unreasonablyangrypodcast@gmail.com.
Yep.
And until next time, my name is Eric.
And I'm Gary.
Stay angry, fuckers.